Hello, this is Bowman. I used to have people call me P.Z. Myers, the playa-hating pimp, but I'm getting too old for that name. From now on, I wish to be known as Bowman. Recently, I've had an epiphany of sorts. It seems to me that many of you MRAs really think that I am not friendly to men's rights or to MRAs. But truth be told, I really do care about the rights of men, and especially little boys. So I want to extend my olive branch to you MRAs, because even though most of you are disappointingly dim-witted and narrow-minded, I know that some of you are just as emotionally evolved as yours truly. I now see the men's rights movement as a way to start constructive conversation about the issues that primarily affect men. But the libertarians in your movement don't really care about men. They only care about their selfish rights. For example, I hear a lot of talk about the right to the presumption of innocence. What a loony libertarian idea. Only a libertarian would be brazen enough to advocate on behalf of other dangerous criminals and predators. I don't want innocent men to be punished either. So I suggest that you stay away from my women. Or how about the right to freedom of speech? MRAs can be so rigid and dogmatic about this idea. Just because I think that I should have the right to speak my mind, and the right to be surrounded by people who compassionately nod along and agree with me, doesn't mean that I think that some libertarian fool should have the right to contradict me. Free thought encompasses a body of principles. It is actually a specific philosophy, not a vacuum that allows that anything goes. It is a direct rejection of the supernatural and the incorporation of rational empiricism into decision-making. Libertarians should have the right to remain silent, so that they can't harm themselves or others. And here is another one. The right not to be discriminated against. Well, if you belong to a group that discriminates, then you should also have the right not to discriminate by being castrated of your privilege. Fortunately, some of you MRAs get it. But unfortunately, my message is going to go right over the heads of this unsophisticated libertarians in your movement. We're so one-dimensional that they can't even understand why vandalism and censorship is actually free speech. Like I said before, I care. I really, really care about the issues that mostly affect men and boys. And I really care about the rights of men and boys. So hear me out. One of the issues that is nearest and dearest to my heart is suicide. I think that men should have the right to not kill themselves. So I say, don't allow the men to have guns. Only people who can really be trusted with a gun should have access to a gun. What we need is less guns and more conversations. It really saddens me that so many men would be so selfish that they would rather kill themselves than be open and honest about their feelings. Men and boys who are at risk of suicide should be identified, apprehended, monitored, and treated by expert professionals. And only as a last resort would I ever recommend euthanizing these men. It is very hard for me to imagine anything more selfish than a male taking his own life. I feel very passionately that these tragic acts of selfishness should be prevented in a way that is as modern, safe, and humane as possible. Another issue that is near and dear to my heart is violence against men. I feel that men should have the right to be free from their own violent male energy and from the violent male energy of other people. So, logically, these violent males should be identified and isolated from the rest of us, so that they cannot infect our minds with their violent male opinions and hateful male attitudes. I also care very much about workplace safety. Males today are not safe in the workplace, because we as a society are paying men more money to do dangerous jobs just because they are men. When males take over an industry, it becomes an unsafe space. Our society prefers to pay men more for the same work because society loves men too much. The rational solution to this imbalance would be to correct it by making sure that feminist industries such as social workers, bureaucrats, and family court staff are paid more. And this will require more government spending, higher fees, higher fines, higher child support payments, and higher taxes. So don't allow your movement to be invaded by libertarians who really don't care about men at all. Just because one of your X chromosomes is dysfunctional doesn't mean that there is no hope. So don't despair. I really want to help you MRAs to achieve your noble objectives. And just because you MRAs are such simpletons doesn't mean that you can't listen and learn a thing or two from me. And if you are willing to help me, then I am perfectly willing to help you as well. But if you insist on behaving like troglodytes, then I have no time for you. Yours in emotional sincerity, Bowman.